Justin Trudeau's perpetual marketing machine. I'm Brian Lilly with Rebel.media. Whether we're talking soap, cereal, or politicians, all of them are products that need to be sold. And Justin Trudeau is constantly selling himself. I've been sitting back and looking at his media strategy for a while now, and I have to say it differs wildly from any politician, liberal or conservative, that I've covered over the last 2 decades. It's fascinating, actually. Normally, politicians, be they prime ministers or premiers, mayors, they're trying to sell the public on their policies. You want a great example of that? Look to Brad Wall, Premier of Saskatchewan. He does that very well, and like Trudeau, he understands the benefits of social media, going directly to the voters. So he tweets and he Facebooks all the time with infographics about government policy. But that's the key. It's about the policy. That's what he's selling, and that's what traditional politicians do. With Trudeau, the product being sold isn't the policy, but Trudeau himself. We're being sold Justin Trudeau over and over again, not only by the Liberals and his handlers, but by the media as well. And if you ask me, it's all part of their election strategy for 2019. Yeah, that election might be 2 years away, but Trudeau is being perpetually sold to us in often non-traditional ways. And I'd argue they haven't actually stopped selling them since the last election. Now, I'm going to document some of this for you and how Trudeau's going well outside normal political journalism to reach the audience he wants, that he thinks or knows will vote for him. But there's also a warning in this for the Conservatives. Let me tell you this, though. In the past, prime ministers that I've covered, Jean Chrétien, Paul Martin, Stephen Harper, they would ham it up now and again. All of them appeared with Rick Mercer at some point. Harper played a bit role in a Murdoch Mysteries episode just because he liked the show. But while they did these sorts of things now and again, they spent most of their time talking to Canadian media, political media. Chrétien and Martin did regular scrums. They faced tough questions after cabinet meetings. Harper cut that back, but he still did press conferences, regular sit-downs. He was bashed for what some saw as freezing out of the political journalist class in Ottawa. While he cut it back, he still did talk to them. Now, Trudeau, despite his promises, hasn't actually been that much more accessible than Harper was to the political journalist class in Ottawa. He's in the media all the time, but look at where he goes. He drops by The Social. He visits with Kelly and Ryan. He goes on a CBC Kids special. And then the media, serious media and lighthearted media, they just write up stories about it. How many stories have you seen about his socks? I've seen countless ones over the last year and a half. Today there's another one, a piece in the Huffington Post that's kind of a summary of other stories about Justin Trudeau's socks. Now, why are people doing these stories? Because, well, regular people, readers are clicking on them. Trudeau and his handlers feed these sorts of things by putting the photos out, and they know, well, it'll take over from there in the media. That's what happened with his NATO sock story, the one where everyone was looking at his socks. That appeared on Trudeau's social media feed. Now, I mocked the PM in a very popular social media post of my own, pointing out he went to the NATO meetings with no new policy, no new spending, but he did have spiffy socks. Conservatives mock him with memes like this one. I mean, I love this one. It shows Andrew Scheer congratulating Trudeau for getting dressed all by himself. But while we laugh, others just look and say, oh, our prime minister's cool. He has nice socks. Trudeau and his handlers are doing all this, or they're not doing all this. They're not doing it to win over conservatives or disaffected liberals or even New Democrats. You know who they're targeting? You know who they're constantly selling to? That part of the Canadian population that is essentially apolitical but might vote. Trudeau knows where his supporters are. It's why Peter Mansbridge gets fawning all-access passes to hang out with Trudeau. But going on The Social, talking about life more than politics, that's what he really wants to do. Appearing on CBC Kids so that, well, let's be frank, the next generation of kids can be indoctrinated, but also so that their mothers and fathers watching with the kids as Trudeau joins Gary's Hug Club are going to sit there and think, oh, that's sweet, he's nice, he's laid back, he's cool, he's great with kids. Sell the man, not the message. That's what the Liberals are doing here. And each one of these types of appearances, it generates stories like this one in Elle, a place you don't normally hear all that much about serious politics. And so you get this headline: Justin Trudeau hugs a puppet unicorn in a beautiful universe, much like our own? Really? I mean, the story is soft and gushy, and it's going to leave casual readers with wonderful feelings about Trudeau. No clue about his policy, what effect that policy will have on the country, and that's just how he and his team like it. He makes a pillow fort in his office with a kid, and his photographer puts out the image on social media, and you get ET Canada, along with countless other non-political outlets all over it. Again, more gushing. And then, of course, there were those stories about Trudeau photobombing a prom in Vancouver as he was out running. It wasn't a photobomb at all. It was staged between Trudeau and his official photographer, something Trudeau mentioned in his New York Times event in Toronto this week. Now, Trudeau was asked if it was staged. He said no, then proceeded to explain how it was staged, including that his official photographer runs with his camera.
I run, and I travel with my EA and photographer and a few other people. They are both runners too. And Adam, our photographer, got taking a series of me running in Strasbourg, in Paris, in Washington, D.C., and he doesn't mind running with a camera on. He saw a grad group in front of me, and I saw him stop, and I'm like, okay, watch, I'm going to fake it and take off my shirt. That actually wasn't in any of the picture series, but there's a first picture, I don't think he got of me saying, yeah, I'll take off my shirt to be in the background, because it was a thing, and he shook his head. And then I ran through it, and he snapped the picture, and then the kids spotted me, and I turned back and said hi.
Now, those that want Trudeau gone from office, they can laugh at this, they can mock it, they can heap scorn on it, and say it's vacuous, has no merit, it's devoid of policy. So what? It's working. He's selling himself nonstop to people that never pay attention to politics. I remember the 2012 U.S. presidential election, and along with tons of other people, I was laughing that Barack Obama would avoid interviews with real White House correspondents, people following him on the trail, but then he would call in to chat on the radio with DJ Pimp with a limp. It sounded ridiculous, but it worked. Trudeau's taken that style, that plan, he's put it on steroids. And what conservatives, including Andrew Scheer, have to figure out is not just how to mock this, but to counter it with their own narrative, or they're going to face a real uphill battle come 2019. If you like the Rebel video you just watched, make sure you never miss another one again. Click here to subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed to our Rebel Canada YouTube feed, make sure you do that, because it's filled with all the stories that the other guys don't want to tell you about Trudeau and company.